Okay, alright. Testing, testing, 1 2 1 2. Oh crap, I have a lot of background noise. Alright. Should take off this fan. That should be a bit better. Less hostile to one's ears. Should take off this fan. That should be a bit better. Less hostile to one's ears. I'm gonna try and tune down the mic volume as well. This should be a bit more reasonable, right? Just let me know. This should be a bit more reasonable, right? Just let me know. This should be a bit more reasonable, right? Okay. So thank you all for being here. Welcome to the celebration of 150k. It really went by like a blink. I'm surprised. I mean, this whole year has been a blink. We're in October already. I'm busy trying to figure out what to. Oh, now it's too low. Oh, great. How do I change that? Oh no, it's good. Okay, all right, cool. Yeah, I'm just really. Oh no, it's not good. God damn it. Okay, volume. Let's change the mic to 110% instead. How is that now? Maybe 120, maybe better. Or 130. Yeah. I'm just gonna go with this, and I mean, this should be decent enough in terms of volume, right? Oh, good, another chat is working. Great. So there's a lot. I have a lot of ideas. I have what we can do today. I don't have a very long fuse when it comes to energy for these kind of lives, and I don't want to lose my voice. So let's let's chat. Let's have a good time. And of course, I want to make sure that I premiere finally, the Solarpunk art collaboration of 2023. It has been a long time coming. And originally, I was meant to release it much earlier this year because I closed submissions all the way back in June, I believe. But I ended up delaying it. And then I delayed it to the point where I was just like, oh, let me just do it as part of a special. But here we are on this special. And I'm ready to premiere it. I just want to let a couple more people come into the chat. Let's see if we could hit like 100 simultaneous viewers, and then we could premiere the stream. In the meantime, how is everyone on this blisteringly hot, well, for me it's blisteringly hot, Sunday afternoon? Well, for me it's afternoon. 1:52 p.m., 33 degrees. Yeah, not the most comfortable experience. And I mean, it's been that way for a while now. It's supposed to be rainy season, and yet here we are, getting the occasional rain, but mostly exasperating sun. Let me get some water. I just realized I didn't get any water. One sec. Okay, we back. Yeah, it's very good to stay hydrated. Um, yeah, getting ready for the work week in New England, so chilling. Yeah, I've never actually been to New England. I haven't been anywhere in the U.S. except like a single state, and one could say it's one of the more infamous of those states. Cascadia. Ugh, I love the word Cascadia. It's very. I enjoy how it sounds, and it really connects me to the idea of bioregions. I'm not sure where the etymology of the word. In fact, that's something we could probably check now. Let's do a little Wikipedia moment. Oh, spoiler alert! Here it is. Um, right, Cascadia etymology. Okay, in terms of naming the Cascades came before the mountains. The mountains by the Cascades. Da, 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 da. The mountains named after the waters, not the other way around. Okay, so what are the Cascades? Da, 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 da. Um, well, of course, there are a bunch of different names for them, right? Particularly indigenous names, which I really don't want to butcher. And then they got English names. They also got Spanish names. Cascade meaning. I mean, I know cascade as like just a general word. Right, waterfalls. Duh. Okay. There's nothing too complicated. Comes from the Latin casas and later on Italian cascare. Okay, cool. Cool, 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 cool. So it's basically like, oh, water's falling here, so let's call it a thing. Appalachia is another word I really appreciate. Um, and I never looked into the meaning of that either. Um, I know it's like pretty much the one of the oldest mountain ranges ever. Oh, it's based on an indigenous name. Members and avatars from the village indigenous people whose name they transcribed. Okay, so it's named after an indigenous people. As the name of the tribe in the region spreading. Okay. It's just like a European spelling or adaptation of a named indigenous people. Hmm. Very cool. Very cool. I've heard a lot of stories about like horrors in Appalachia. People go into like, oh no, my head is not supposed to be like hyper like that. Okay, but yeah, um, I've heard a lot of stories of like people going to like hiking through the range and seeing all kind of strange things and stuff. I'm not one for creepy pastas too often, and the horrors, or I do like the occasional folktale, of course, but um, the type of horror I'm into is more so like psychological thrillers and like social commentary type stuff, less so the supernatural. I've never been into like the exorcisms and the demons and all these different things. I'm also like, oh, we live in a society, bottom text kind of horror enjoyer. And yes, to answer Bean, it is Florida, the one state I've ever been to, and perhaps one of the more infamous. Da, 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 da. Thank you all for the kind words. Thank you all for the kind words. I loved Get Out, of course. Of course, of course. Are we at 100 views? Oh, we're at 91. Okay, so we're getting close. We're getting close. As soon as we hit 100, we're going to premiere that, how you call, Solarpunk art collaboration. Sock says, "Oh yeah, the saints and ghouls are definitely around here, but it's also super easy to get lost because of how much flora there is." Yeah, it's a very ecologically diverse region, if I recall correctly. There's a lot to it. Um, where is that? Would they have it on this page? Stuff on the ecology, physiographic provinces, geology. I don't think. Yeah, no, geology is different from geography. But they must have something here on like the. Eh. Oh, there was an island in the Mesozoic named Appalachia. That's interesting. Yeah, because it is a very old range. Temperate rainforest. Yeah, actually, I learned recently, I saw it on Reddit, that the United States is has the most what's the term for that classification? I think it's the Klepper classification or something like that. Nope, it's not that. But it's there's this way of classifying ecological regions, and apparently the United States has the most within its borders. Someone had like matched it up to the different like made a graph of countries and the amounts of ecological regions within their borders, and the US had the most. So I'm not surprised at all that parts of Appalachia is considered temperate rainforest. Have I watched Atlanta? Yes, I have, and it's a brilliant show. I'm really appreciated the its conclusion and everything. I do think I feel like at one point that Donald Glover was no longer like as invested in making it as he was before, which is why it was so delayed. At least that's how it felt like to me. Um, but it was still a really good show, and season 3 and 4 were very, very fun. Which do I prefer? Get Out, Us, or Nope? Okay, so Get Out involved, and then Us was, and then Nope. Gosh, what was Nope about again? Let me double check. Oh yes, Nope was the one with the with the. Oh, I don't want to spoil it. It is the one with the yeah. So yeah, Nope was really, really, really good. But honestly, I can't. And Us was also really excellent. I actually haven't rewatched Us since I first saw it. I've been meaning to, and I haven't rewatched Nope. But I mean, I saw Nope like earlier this year, so I'm not gonna rewatch it so soon. I've seen Get Out at least twice or three times. I don't really rewatch stuff too often, and I have to say Get Out is probably the most powerful of the three to me, at least. And of course, you can't deny the cultural impact, like the sunken place as a concept. I mean, it's not a new concept, of course. Um, in a sense, you could go back to like W.E.B. Du Bois, who was talking about it all the way back then, something similar with like double consciousness. But the concept of the sunken place is like fantastic, and it's like pervaded our cultural imagination now, and so I have to give it to Get Out. Um, oh, we reached over 100. Okay, I'm gonna play it just now. Have you seen the new Castlevania? I actually don't. I actually haven't. No. Castlevania is an anime, right? Okay, it's not an anime. No, it is. But it's not an anime, but it's heavily influenced by Japanese animation. Okay. Yeah, I haven't because I mean I don't usually watch stuff that involves like vampires and like and that kind of thing. Like I'm not a supernatural guy, so I wouldn't have checked it out like normally. But it's cool that they talk about the Haitian Revolution though. That's interesting. Right, Copin. I don't know what I was saying before, but the Copin classification system. It is what I was thinking of. Copin or Copin. I don't know. Yeah, Copin climate classification. And apparently, of all the countries, the United States has the most um, diversity within its borders for its size and everything. Um, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, yeah, so let's jump right in to let's jump right into the premiere of the video. And I want to take some time. I'm going to play it first, let it play out itself, and then later on explain what is meant by it. And if you're wondering what this Black Stallion Birdendem is, that's something I wanted to share as well because I found it very humorous. Um, but yeah, let me know if y'all could hear the music. It's by Joe Zempel, See the Room. Pause. Let me put it in full screen and do it justice. So the music was made by Joe Zempel. And that particular song, See the Room, like streaming on Spotify, it's the outro of all of my most recent videos. Because it's like y'all was saying, it's a really good song. Um, it's a really, really good song. So now we've given it like a general general overview. Shout out to all the artists who made this possible. I want to take the time to actually delve into what each of these what this whole thing represents, right? The theme for this year was bioregions, and I specifically in the rules encouraged people to venture outside of the typical solarpunk region of the temperate forest, right? A lot of solarpunk art is in basically the exact same realm. You don't get to see stuff in deserts, you don't get to see stuff in shrublands, you don't get to see stuff in rainforests or in boreal environments. And I also wanted to emphasize people in solarpunk art because a lot of solarpunk art is absent of the people that make it possible. Obviously, not all the pieces they incorporated people. So I did leave some exceptions here and there for certain things that I wanted to represent in this piece. And also, I wanted to emphasize there was a third thing. Yeah, I wanted to encourage people to also explore a range of technologies, right? Because another aspect of solar punk art is there's typically like this high tech, like solar panels and wind turbines everywhere. I know that has a place and everything. But as you'll see, like some of those pieces you barely even see any technology in it. You know, some of it is a lot more low tech. And I think that also has a place in Solarpunk. So I'm going to play the video again, and this time I'm going to pause on each piece and sort of explain. Actually, no, I won't use the video. I'll take the raw. I'll use the raw artwork because I'll be represented a lot easier, I think. Let me go into my files, and I'll just, so I can make it a lot bigger and play with it and all that stuff. The first piece that we saw was a temperate grassland, and let me fix this. Right. Yes, that is so real. You know, even the wheel and cooking with heat is technology. Like, technology is not just the things that you make with rare earth minerals. It's also just whatever tools and stuff we use, we've learned to create with. So this first piece, it is a temperate grassland. It is specifically in the Ukrainian steppe. As you can see, the top of it depicts the damage taking place, particularly due to the war, the wreckage caused by the Russian invasion. And I'll just read what the artist Lemonot wrote. This piece depicts the Ukrainian steppe, which is a temperate grassland biome. It's a rapidly disappearing region, as most of the land gets turned into crop fields or forests to provide profit with little regard for the ecosystem. At the top part of the drawing is a bus stop in a rural area near a maize field. Ukraine grows a lot of maize, mostly to provide feed for the meat industry, so rewilding it back into a grassland would be a great way to help achieve degrowth and heal the environment. Also, fertilizer use often leads to eutrophication, and the little green puddle over there is a real and quick example of that. The country's ecology is also being wrecked by the Russian invasion. Helping the land recover from both the profit-oriented industry and war is undoubtedly an important step towards Solarpunk. In this piece, the bus stop has become a pleasant little space to pass the time when getting from one place to the next. It even has a small solar-powered community fridge and some wall art in the traditional style. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And thanks to Lemonart for, introducing this piece into the collaboration. Next we have a very rare, a rarity really in Solarpunk art, and that is a representation of Africa. This is specifically a representation of South Africa done by Drac Art, which you can find on Tumblr. This entry depicts the transformative deserts and xeric shrublands of Namakwa-land, South Africa. The artwork features Ndebele-style carbon straw homes that excel in the region's climate. Raised tram lines connect the city, centered around a library, symbolizing knowledge and a library-based economy. The agricultural scene includes seasonal crops and year-round food sources, while wind turbines and solar panels provide energy and water from wells. Borbals act as guardians against predators, and guinea fowls serve as companions and sentries for the chickens. This artwork portrays a sustainable community in harmony with the desert environment. Another beautiful piece by Drac Art. And yeah, I particularly love how much color is used. Like, this is the kind of setting, I would love to live here and to visit here and to check out. Temperate broadleaf, and actually we have several pieces by Solarpunk art by Dustin Jacobus, or Jacobus. Several of them are set in like a temperate broadleaf, mixed forest kind of situation. So there's this one, which is during winter. And we also have this one. And we have this piece. And we have this piece. And all of them are set in this temperate environment, this temperate broadleaf and mixed forest environment. These entries by Dustin Jacobus celebrate the enchanting beauty of temperate mixed forests, where nature thrives in harmony with solarpunk innovations. The artwork features a plethora of sustainable elements that seamlessly blend with the surroundings. Winter air carries the gentle hum of wind turbines, providing clean energy amidst the landscape. At the foot of majestic mountains, vibrant greenhouses stand, nurturing a variety of plant life throughout the seasons. Expressive architecture graces the scene, as rooftop gardens adorn each building, creating lush green spaces that promote biodiversity and enhance air quality. River irrigation systems are integrated in this work, harnessing the power of flowing water to sustain crops and support aquaculture practices. Even the husks of once abandoned structures, like in this piece in particular, have been transformed into thriving gardens, breathing new life into forgotten spaces. All throughout Dustin's art, you can see how shared spaces serve as meeting points, bringing people, plants, and animals together in harmonious coexistence. You can find, Dustin wants me to give extra credit to Arcti by Mark LaRochelle, and you can find all of Dustin's work on his Instagram page, Solarpunk, at Solarpunk Art. As for a website for all these pieces, there isn't. The video is meant to serve as a sort of a digital exhibition, but I would look into displaying the art in one static format as well, perhaps creating a kind of a local sort of gallery, perhaps on my Tumblr or something like that. How do I get my little avatar to move my mouth when it's talking? I'm using this program called Veadotube Mini, Veadotube Mini. It's free. Download it. You just upload the various PNGs, mouth open, mouth open blinking, mouth closed blinking, and it just does the rest by itself, which is really fantastic. So let's move along as well. Next we have a beautiful and very creative setting, and that is a representation of Southern California, particularly the apparently famous Interstate 5. God, I wish this would like automatically fit. Yeah, this is the this is the famous Interstate 5, right? This submission for the Solarpunk Art Challenge features the bioregion Mediterranean forests, woodland, and scrubs. It's specifically set in Southern California, where the artist is from, and shows the famous Interstate 5. The artist wanted to imagine a near-future transition period where much of the current infrastructure still stands, but where people have taken over the land and roads for their own. Here we have a huge issue of car dependency, where highways divide neighborhoods and economic classes. This piece shows people taking over the highways for a market where they're skating, biking, and hanging out, also taking advantage of all the green spaces that line the highways. This piece is by Helen Tedeschi Art. You can also go and support there on Instagram. And I really appreciated the sort of muted color palette of this piece, the use of what's the word? I forget. But the sort of transition of the colors, the sort of the glow of the sun, it's very, very beautiful. And I appreciate the interesting take on taking the existing infrastructure and recreating it and reworking it for our human pedestrian needs. Next we have a boreal forest by @_Frand Szczyk, FRANDSZK. This is a simpler piece. It is a sort of a village homestead involving the chanterelles, black morels, and black trumpets of this particular ecosystem, as well as the rose hips and bog blueberries. The buildings are constructed with the wood from the surrounding forest, and there's a partially underground structure that has berry bushes on top for easier access for inhabitants. The leftmost building has a set of solar panels on its roof and is connected to an ice house designed for storing food. The building with smoke coming onto the roof is intended to be for smoking meats or other foodstuffs collected by the community members. So this is not an urban gradient. Y'all have to forgive me. I forget words, particularly in a live stream format when it feels like there's a bit of pressure. So, gradient. Thank you for that. I appreciated the gradient of the of the previous piece. Um, yeah. And yes, it would be good to see more disabled people featured. I believe the piece in South Africa actually featured at least someone in a wheelchair or some sort of mobility device. Um, but yeah, it would be good to see more of that represented in solarpunk art as well, and perhaps that could be a theme of a future solarpunk art collaboration. Um, but yeah, as you can see, this piece is like a homestead. It's a bit lower tech. You know, you still have the solar panels and stuff, but as described, there's an ice box in use. So rather than using, you know, electricity to maintain the temperature, they're using the natural environment to keep the place cool. And that's really cool. Um, yeah, let's move on. Not every solarpunk artwork is going to feature a city or heavily dense urban environment. Some things will involve uh, some things will involve the simpler sort of life that some people may want to retreat to. Next, we have a portrayal of Tijuana, Mexico by Limonart. It is also of the Mediterranean forest slash scrubs climate. And in this illustration, it is the day of Tianguis, which is a type of mobile market typical of Mexico. One of the houses has a solar panel, and two of the buildings have meshes to catch the morning breeze that later collects in water tanks. In the corner, on a hill, there is a group of neighbors building a house. The foundations are made of buried tires filled with earth, a common construction technique in the area. In the background, there are some fields and crops. This is gorgeous. I appreciate the pops of colors involved. I appreciate the clear collaboration of the neighbors and constructing, you know, and coming together to build this home for a member of their community. And I appreciate the cultural component of the of the market involved as well. Taking us a moment again to answer some quick questions. Any advice on how to incorporate this ongoing pandemic into solarpunk stories? I think there's potential there. I'm not sure, but it's something I'll give some thought to. How do people submit the art? And is there an email or website? And are you going to do more of these art streams? Super cool stream. I mean, I want to do these annually. I did one in 2021, and I can show that video as well in this stream, so y'all could see. I don't have the detailed descriptions for those though, but we could show it afterwards. And yeah, I'm trying to do this annually with different themes each time. People submitted to my email. I gave a very specific title that they had to submit it with so that I could easily sort the email from the rest of the massive headache-inducing inbox. And eventually, like I was saying, I do want to like display it on some kind of website or blog or just some centralized place so people could, you know, see it. But of course, each artist, most of these artists, this artwork is on their personal Instagrams and Tumblrs and that sort of thing. And I did credit each one of them both in the video and in the description of the video. Next up, we have, will there be a VOD later? Yes, there will. Yes, there will. The VOD is just going to be, well, this exact live stream. I have a live stream playlist on the channel, in the playlist section of the channel, for the public streams, but I have them unlisted because I don't really like how live streams look on my video feed, so I just put them in unlisted and put them in the playlist for anybody to check out. Keeping solarpunk radical and preventing co-optation. Well, it's not so much that you, I don't know if it's necessary that you prevent, because companies are going to try to monetize it regardless, right? But it's important that you just maintain the core principles, that you have those principles in mind, and that you put those principles into practice in whatever way you choose to manifest solarpunk. You know, those principles being horizontal cooperation and mutual aid and direct action and that sort of thing. Space travel. I'm I'm torn on space travel. And so now I'm getting some questions a little bit off from the our topic, the wave of coups in West Africa. Um, I'm not providing commentary on that. I think it's just, and yet at the end of the day, it's really a cycle. Thoughts on relationship anarchy is not something that I'm very much acquainted with, so I can't give any sort of detailed thoughts on that matter. And violence having a place at all in Solarpunk, um, I think it depends on how you define violence, how you sort types of violence, and that sort of thing. But I will say that there doesn't seem to be. I will say that a Solarpunk transformation will not, like, it's inevitable that it will not be peaceful, I think. Um, because of the way that these structures are set up, that sort of transition will eventually either hit a brick wall or break through that brick wall, to use a euphemism. If you could participate in next year's art collab, yes, you can. I have an art collab Discord, and I will drop the link in the chat so you could join that Discord. That Discord is specifically for the art collab. Most people who were in it didn't get to submit for this year because either they came too late or they just wanted to join the thing and whatever. But you can join it, and I'll throw you all in, and you'll get pinged when next year's thing is going on. So let me drop it in the chat real quick. That's the Discord link there. Answer some more quick questions. Like, I'll do like two more. The rapper No Name. I don't know what recent interview where she said she was an anarchist, but I knew she had those like anarchist leanings for some time now. And yeah, I've heard of her. She does excellent music. I haven't listened to her stuff in a while though. And I'm not on Twitter anymore, haven't been for the past several months, so I don't know what she's been up to lately. Um, my permaculture garden is coming along excellently. I have sweet potatoes growing next to pigeon peas, and then I also have some spinach growing as well, and some sorrel trees, and some pimento, and shadow benny, and it's all coming together really nicely. Some scythe as well, some plantains or plantains. Let me just cover both bases before I get myself in any controversy. Um, some French thyme, mango tree, soursop tree, some pineapples. I have a good thing going, good situation going. Um, yes. Also, I did have this conversation on violence before. I have a whole video on violence that I briefly unlisted for several months. But I have a video on non-violence and violence and that kind of thing. So you could check it in my catalog. It's a bit of a ways back, but I think it's a useful video. Congrats on escaping Twitter. Yeah, thank you. It took a while, took a couple efforts, but by March of this year, I was like fully done, and yeah, so healthy, so healthy. Already existing buildings we incorporated in Solarpunk cities. Yeah, we're not tearing everything down and started from scratch. And that same thing applies to anarchism. I think some people approach anarchism with like, how are y'all gonna like single-handedly recreate every single system brand new? And it's like, no, the transition will involve adapting those systems towards anarchic ends, and in some cases dismantling them, in some cases recreating them and reconfiguring them entirely. So we're not starting from scratch. We're starting from where we are now, and in fact, in some ways, we started already. Um, yes. Oh, one sec. Yeah. Okay. Um, I don't want to delve too much into questions because we have a couple more pieces to go through. But this is a partial Q&A as well. Um, Best time to plant an apple tree is 20 years ago or right now. That's true. I can't grow apples in this country, but for those who can, y'all should do so. Um, a video specifically on permaculture? No, I do have a video on permablitzing, but yeah. Have I checked out the regenerative finance space in Web3 crypto? Anything involving crypto is not something I'm involved in. That's my hot take. I don't do crypto. Am I moving over to Tumblr? I'm actually not looking to replace Twitter with anything. I am casually on Tumblr, but I don't really keep up with it too much. I think it's a chiller platform for me. Um, but yeah, I'm not looking to replace the void of Twitter with anything except, good books and the sunshine of the outside world, I guess. Um, but I do appreciate Tumblr, and I am already on it, and it's good. But I know some people were asking me to like come on to Mastodon and stuff as well. I do have a Mastodon account, but like I said, I'm not trying to fill Twitter with something new. Um, yeah, yeah. Okay, so let me show some more art in the meantime, and then we can get back to some more questions later on. Next piece we have is a depiction of. Let me find it real quick. Uh, 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 uh. Where is it? Right. This pixel art is by Solaris Crescent Art, and this piece was inspired by Lai Chai Wo, a traditional Hakka village in Hong Kong. It depicts a Solarpunk setting blending cultural traditions with sustainability. The village is surrounded by forests, mountains, and water, showcasing elements of Feng Shui philosophy and permaculture. Solaris Crescent Art chose Lai Chi Wo because of its commitment to environmental sustainability and as a representation of how rural communities can harmonize with nature. Solarpunk isn't limited to futuristic cities. It can exist in traditional villages powered by sun, wind, and water. And I'll just intersperse answers in between. Pushing anarchism in the mind of the average citizen. There is no such thing as the average citizen, in my opinion. There's no Joe Schmo, no John Doe, no Jenny Average. Every person has like their is gonna have their own thing. Like I spoke about this in my video on propaganda and stuff like that. How to reach people. You're not going to reach every single audience, and there is no general schmuck audience, right? I speak specifically to people who have similar backgrounds to me, people who are or were students, people who are interested in permaculture and in sustainability and in climate change, and particularly people of my generation, people who are at least at the point or have reached or definitely past the point of capitalism is bad. That's the position I'm at, and that's the position that I'm speaking to. There is content and there are figures and there are people who will take the other approaches, but there's a different approach for every type of person, and I don't think there's a specific approach for every type of person at the same time. Okay, next up. Do I play Minecraft? Yes. Do I feel about super blocks? I like them. Jumping in. How do we ensure safety standards in construction while still maintaining anarchism? Well, I mean, there's nothing in anarchism that says you can't have safety standards, right? Um, it's not, no rules. It's that, you create the rules sensibly and involving all people in the decision making body, involving people, giving people decision making power. And if somebody who doesn't want to adhere to the safety standards and rules, well, I guess they won't wear a hard hat, and that problem solves itself. Okay, that's really that's not cool. But you get what I'm saying. Like sometimes there are natural consequences to one's actions, and I think if somebody is not willing to cooperate with others in the safety standards that people have collectively established, well then they can't work with others to build somebody's house or whatever. That's putting other people in danger. That's a violation, and yeah, you can't accept that. Next up, we have this is something a little bit different, right? We have a depiction of people playing a traditional Filipino game called Sungka, Sungka. Very, very vibrant, very colorful. You almost can't tell that it's a solarpunk piece, but it's more about how the people live within a solarpunk world. In the tropical and subtropical moist broadleaf forests of the Philippines, these two women are playing Sungka while tending to forests on their veranda. The artist was inspired by my video about the contemporary conceptualization of work and of the false dichotomy that exists between work and play, and sought to depict people living life at their own pace. Gorgeous, beautiful, and this little Anna Kitty in the piece as well. Right. Yes, to D school we do have to change the way history is taught, definitely. Jumping back into the next piece, another distinct piece, different from the others. This one doesn't even have people in it. And this is a piece made by color pencils or crayons, I presume. Um, and it is meant to depict the temperate conifer forests. It was made by a mother-daughter duo, that being Marilyn and Rosa Hill, Rosa being the daughter. And this piece depicts the temperate conifer forests of the American Northwest, taking a more abstract approach to depict solarpunk in the metaphor of the sunrise, a symbol of hope. The combined efforts of this daughter-mother duo is really what encouraged me to share this work with you all, even though it's a different take on the project. I think it's really cute. And yeah, it's really great to. Oh, Lakapati Bulak Bulak Bulaklakan is the artist of the previous piece. You can follow them on Instagram at Lakan, LACN. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, by the way. LACN dot LACAPATI. That's their Instagram. And yeah, it's a really, really beautiful piece that they made of, you know, these two Filipino women playing songka and tending to their garden. Jumping into the next piece, we have a depiction of temperate broadleaf and mixed forests by. Nope. This is not the one. Okay, but this is a Southern Great Lakes temperate broadleaf and mixed forest by Tony Rabb. I chose a suburban piece. I'll quoting the artist here. I chose a suburban setting for this piece because I've not yet seen a solarpunk artwork that features this. I'm aware of the problems with suburbs, but it seems to me more sustainable to try to adapt them than to demolish them and start over. Agreed. So instead of lawns, I've depicted beds of native Indiana plants, including but not limited to Amsonia taberna montana, which is the eastern blue star, Spartina pectinata, which is the prairie cordgrass, and Echinacea purpurea, which is the purple coneflower. The roofs of the houses are either white to help reflect heat or green roofs. Some of the houses are equipped with solar panels on the south sides, and one is shown with a greenhouse on that side as well. While perhaps not explicitly ecologically focused, I've shown there to be more art in this setting than is usually found in American suburbia. The sidewalk has a mural painted with hydrochromic paint, which only appears when it is raining. That is beautiful. I love that. The houses are painted bright colors, white or greyish is considered normal, and are occasionally decorated with murals. This particular area is among the cloudiest in the so-called USA, to reflect that the weather is overcast and it is currently raining. I regret that I was not able to include any humans in this piece, but the setting shows evidence of human activity, and many aspects of it are made by and for humans. And to be fair, I was the only one outdoors in the rain when I took the photo this was based on. Beautiful, beautiful piece. Beautiful. And you could kind of tell as well, I mean, there is space for cars, but you can tell that there's a lot more consideration of the pedestrian in this. And I love the adaptation of an existing suburb to try and make it more ecologically sustainable and livable. Yes, this live is going to be available on the live stream playlist I have on my channel. Um, right. Another person asked, "Hi, Andrew. I'm currently studying anthropology. I'm looking to study that myself, somewhat casually, and going to Trinidad for fieldwork soon. Was wondering if there's any current social movements you find particularly interested in that context." Um, email me. Email me. Um, yeah, let me carry on. Yeah, it's a very, very beautiful, beautiful setting. Let's jump in and carry on. What I think of the anarchist Spider-Man, the newest movie, Spider-Punk. I've loved Spider-Punk since before they announced he would be part of Across the Spider-Verse. So it was really great to see him depicted there, and they really were true to his character. So I appreciate that. I would say he's my Spider Sona, except I technically created a Spider Sona before Spider Sona was a thing that people did. Back when I was like 10 or 11, I created a character who was kind of based on Spider Man, but he also had electricity powers. Actually, technically, I created him before Miles Morales was created, and Miles Morales has electric powers as well, kind of. So yeah, I created this character, named him Orb Electric, and yeah, it's kind of cool to see a sort of depiction of that. Moving on, we have Tundra, again by Dustin Jacobus. Right, this is particularly North American tundra, with its vast expanses of icy landscapes and unique flora. The artwork features solarpunk elements like sustainable saunas and bathhouses that blend harmoniously with the surroundings. The saunas are designed to utilize solar energy and environmentally friendly materials, while the bathhouses incorporate natural elements like heated stones and thermal pools. Although the tundra may not be densely populated, this solarpunk site serves as an important sanctuary and gathering place for both locals and travelers. It fosters a connection with nature and a deep appreciation for the delicate balance of the ecosystem. Again, by Dustin Jacobus, who you can support on Instagram.com, at Solarpunk Art. Let's jump into some more questions. Oh yeah, the Lynx is very, very cute. How car-centric is Trinidad? It's Tobago, Tobago. I assume it's just a typo. Trinidad and Tobago is not as car-centric as Miami, which is the only part of the US I've been to, and it's absurd how car-centric it is. So it's not as car-centric as Miami, but it is car-centric. It's definitely car-centric. In fact, it's becoming a bit more car-centric in my opinion. It's more convenient in some ways to get around as a pedestrian if there are certain places you're trying to go, because of the max taxi system. The bus is currently unreliable, but they're kind of supposed to be working on that. And yeah, it's kind of in some ways certain areas are specifically particularly car centric, particularly Trinidad. Yeah, Tobago is a little bit more village oriented, a bit smaller and easier to get around. But yeah, it seems like, as the saying goes, America sneezes and Trinidad catches a cold. So we definitely adapt that sort of car centric vibe and approach to urban planning more so than any sort of European pedestrian style. Tips for starting to read anarchist literature. I really like Anarchy Works. I mean, you weren't asking for recommendations, but Anarchy Works is great. And that's like a really good place to like get started because it's short and it's really well divided, split up into like very digestible pieces. So if you want to start slow, you can start with that, and really just try and read a couple pages each day. My experience on Black Power Media was really fantastic, and I really hope to get together with them again sometime soon. in 100 years, Miami will be boat centric. That's hilarious. But yeah, most places are car centric nowadays, and it actually, this is like a little quibble, a little frustration of mine. I can't stand it when people assume I'm American. So like I will make something about urban planning. I made that Solarpunk Cities video, and yeah, like the US is an inspiration, but also my experience living in Trinidad is an inspiration, and like the experience of other people in other countries has been an inspiration. And yet, like a lot of the comments are just about the US, or assume I was just talking about the US, as if like other countries aren't also facing issues with car-centric infrastructure and poorly designed cities. Um, when I made the third places video, people were also talking about how the US doesn't have them anymore and that kind of thing. But there are other places in the world that also lack third places. And I speak about that because, again, I don't live in the US. So that's just like something I need to get off my chest. I don't like the assumption. And I really want people in the US to remember that, like, other places exist and other people are having similar experiences, even though they don't have the same sized platform to discuss those experiences. Yeah. Yes, Anarchy Works is a title, and you can find both it and the Anarchist FAQ at anarchy.works. It's a really fantastic link. North America's population is approaching a point where more lifelong farmers are going to be retiring. Jamaica's population is younger. How can people compete with businesses to buy these old farms? Interestingly, Trinidad's population is also aging. Um, how can people compete with businesses to buy these old farms? I'm not really sure. I mean, I think that there are ways that we can come together collectively and say, create a community land trust or to create some sort of cooperation that pools our resources to purchase that land. And of course, there's the forcible seizure of it as well. Um, but yeah, the issue of farmers aging out of the work and retiring and there not being replacements is a potential issue that needs to be addressed. Right. Moving along. Um, Buildings absolutely should be built to suit the environment they're in. South Africa has a lot of space, just bad design. Yeah, and honestly, islands I think are very uniquely equipped, particularly like Trinidad and Jamaica and stuff like, and Bahamas, Barbados, all of them really. Like we should be the most pedestrian friendly places in the world. Like the fact that Europe is beating us in this is really frustrating. I mean, people also underestimate the size of some of our countries. Like Jamaica is large, Trinidad is large, right? But that doesn't mean that we can't create a really pedestrian friendly environment, a very convenient, like it's not going to take much to implement a very straightforward, very convenient, very efficient transportation system. Anglosphere is very US focused, yeah, and it's funny because the language didn't come from the US, and I don't like how the Caribbean takes ideas of city planning from the US. Have I seen the YouTube channel Not Just Bikes? Yes, of course, of course. Love their videos. Moving along, let's keep going. Almost just a few more to go. All right, just a few more to go. And that is this piece by Arika Do, which I'm going to put up here now. Again, this is a piece that's sort of adapting an existing environment. So transition period. And I really love the artist pointed out that that particular building you're seeing on the corner is a mutual aid produce supplier in a semi-urban area within the biome of a temperate broadleaf forest, where the community can share the food they produce with no strings attached. I like the the fun vibes. I like the community garden. I like the solar panels. Although I haven't seen solar panels on the ground on the sidewalk before. That is an interesting take. I like the fruit trees though, and I like the co-op on the corner that is run by the community. Beautiful. Moving on to some more questions. Not living in a solarpunk world is exhausting. It is. It is. If cities were more pedestrian centered, not car centered, I'd probably move out from the suburbs to the city. Yeah. The Philippines is also really car centric, and dear Lord, I remember not being able to build deeper relationships with friends out of school since half of them live across a highway. Yeah, like a lot of friendships are really spread out, and really inconvenient. Like, I want to hang out with my friends, let's say multiple times a week, right? As the good Lord intended. And yet, to do so would involve. I don't have a car, so I travel to get everywhere I need to go. Um, use the maxi taxi system and that sort of thing. And it's just like it's just frustrating. It takes a lot of it's really energy intensive. I really wish we had uh, more community oriented spaces, more affordable spaces, that sort of thing. And that's just like the lower end of my demands. Cuba has a lot of unused space, but we just put stuff in Port of Spain, Chagonas, or San Fernando. Cuba's in the center west of the country, best place for that. Well, yeah, Cuba, and this is by the way, it was, Fireball is Trinidadian, and so am I, so we're kind of speaking about that. Port of Spain is the capital city, and yeah, we put a lot of stuff in there that doesn't need to be put there. They're doing a revitalization project right now, and we'll have to see how that goes. But yeah, things don't have to be as centralized in Port of Spain as they are right now. And I don't know if you've noticed Fireball, but Chagonas in particular really is trying to emulate the US. Like, neighborhoods like Brentwood is just like a carbon copy. Like, when I go through Chagonas, it's just, wow. Just, it feels like I'm in Miami, driving on the highway and seeing all these suburbs and seeing all these strip malls and different things. Let's jump into another piece. Yeah, squishy. I agree 100%. This piece is by XT Antifa, a Christian anarchist named XT Antifa, and it depicts the Ozark Highlands mixed forest, highlighting solarpunk technology like stylized solar panels and a well with a filtration unit. The artwork features a homestead with a camper as a greenhouse and a character working on a permaculture project. The spherical stained glass windows draw inspiration from the native shortleaf pine cones. While not a bustling urban centre, this solarpunk homestead serves as a vital waypoint between urban and rural areas, connecting with neighbouring communities through travel and a democratically organised internet interface. It also operates as a welcoming hostel for travellers in exchange for farm assistance. That's really cool. I like the incorporation of the hostels and stuff. The hostel component is really, really, really nice. In my city in Italy, gentrification moved all the poor people out of the city centre decades ago. Now the peripheries are getting gentrified too, as rents are going up like crazy. It's exhausting. Yeah, yeah. It's it's really not cool. A lot of cities are suffering. Chaguanas is suffering. Cities in Italy are suffering. Yeah, public transportation has become really expensive, inaccessible. Matt Lipton asked me, how much of the rest of the Caribbean have you seen? I've seen a couple islands. I've seen a few islands. Um, I haven't been to Jamaica. I haven't been to Bahamas. But I have seen a couple islands. I've been to some of the Spanish-speaking islands, and I've been to some of the English-speaking islands. Um, 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 um. And then I think we are pretty much at the end. Are we? Are we? Are we? Oh no, we have like two more pieces by Aristar Art. Both depict Solarpunk Southeast Asia, mainly inspired by Cambodia and Vietnam. Right, so we have here, it's a village that has a rice/fish agriculture with stilt houses upon a river, a delta, or a lake. They use all the waste from humans and animals to fertilize the fields, and they grow small fishes in the overflowed rice field. Then the fishes are big enough, they are moved. When the fishes are big enough, they are moved to the big enclosure in the water side of the village. The entire architecture of both habitation and farming gives a lot of adaptability to the water level that can vary a lot depending on the weather/season. The use of quote-unquote low-tech is a key to allow a good quality of life. The fields are maintained using agricultural machinery inspired by Chinese wheelbarrows that are able to access small paths with electrical assistance to climb on the side of the mountain. The water is the main way to access the village, and allows trade with the other inhabitants of the river. Politically, the community is quite small, allowing information and responsibility to be shared horizontally. The houses are quite big, made for several families or other human gatherings, and circulation is possible through a network of walkways and small boats. Very, very beautiful. So you can find these pieces on the video, which I'll show again for one final time. It's on the Extra Andrewism YouTube channel. And I'm intending to, this is another visualization of the piece, and I do intend to make some sort of page where people can see all the art. Let me show the video one last time. Dun, 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 dun. You see the mobility aid and someone in a wheelchair as well. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So yes, Extra Andrewism, you can check out the pieces. You can subscribe and stuff. This is the first public video on the Extra Andrewism channel. All the artist creds are in the description, including the music by Joe Zempel. That song is called Cedar Womb. And yeah, it's just thanks again to each and every one of the artists who made this possible. Let me really quick go and just showcase, because I did say I would, the other art video I made all the way back in Solarpunk 2021. I think I passed it. Yeah, it's right here. Also, I did, where is it? This is the video I was talking about on propaganda, how to spread radical ideas. And this is the video I did on non-violence. And the accomplice piece, the accompanying piece, which is the case against the guillotine. I think both should be watched right after the other. That's how I intended them to be viewed. Also, highly underrated National Liberation Anarchism. We all should be watching that. Like, I think it's a good video. Yeah, but let's watch the Solarpunk 2021 piece. Yeah, and this is my this is my Solarpunk Baymax. Don't autoplay. Someone asked a question related to this. I'm just gonna shout out this video again as well, which was my video on social revolution, how we can change the world. If you want to know how we achieve a solarpunk world, I think this is a good jumping off point. Also, the videos on the library economy and degrowth and the commons all can help. Curious about the Caribbean, I have a video on that too, and I think that's enough self-promo for now. Oh no, your pasta is undercooked. That's terrible. That's terrible. I am actually supposed to be having some pasta, some spaghetti for lunch after this live stream, and yeah, it's a late lunch, but yeah, there we go. Let me how I got my portrait to move its mouth. Viado Tube Mini. You can look it up. VEADOTUBE. Will I start a Minecraft server? No, I don't think I will. Right, I want to show you all something really entertaining, and we could kind of use this as what's the word I'm looking for? We could use it as a sort of intermission as I take a break from speaking for a little bit. This particular song I'm going to show y'all is a fantastic piece of old-time calypso. Calypso is one of the musical genres invented in Trinidad and Tobago, which is the country I come from. And this particular calypso is by an artist called Black Stalin. No relation to Joseph Stalin. Black Stalin and other calypsonians, they chose their names because part of the idea of calypso is braggadocio, and there is like an extempo combative sort of component to some calypsos, and so you want to pick a name that feels like it might be intimidating or something, you know. So Black Stalin has picked the name Black Stalin, but he's not related to Marxism-Leninism. And this particular piece is called Burn Them. I heard it recently after not hearing it for a really long time, and it is so funny. So funny. I'm going to have the lyrics up as well, so in case somebody wants to follow along with it, and just consider this an intermission.
Because I'm begging the master, give me a walk with Peter. If I some sinners coming, with them I go be dealing. Because the things that they do me, I want to fix them personally. Peter wait, Peter looks Cecil Rhodes by the gate. Peter Peter, look the Englishman. We send Cecil Rhodes to Africa land. Peter, take Drake, take Raleigh, but leave Victoria for me. Why? A bunning and a bunning and a bunning and a bunning. Blazing, 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 blazing. A bunning and a bunning and a bunning and a bunning. Peter, you don't know the pressure that I undergo from these madman and woman. I feel the full weight of their hand. They made the oppressed law. They never care about the poor. Peter, these people had a day. Well, now it's time for Stalin to play. Peter, wait, I say Peter, wait. Peter, look, Ian Smith by the gate. Peter, I don't want you to make fuss. Remember, I want Christopher Columbus. Peter, look, the English woman who on South Africa refused to put sanctions. Peter, I just don't care what you do, but Reagan going in the fire too. Why? Blazing, blazing, blazing. Bunning and me bunning and me bunning and me bunning. Hit me now. Peter, don't grudge me. Your hand done full already. You don't deal with the Führer. Go ahead and take Foster. But that woman Mary, remember that's my baby. So much confusion that she make. You got to give Black Stalin a break. Peter, wait, I say Peter, wait. Peter, look, voter reach by the gate. With voter, I don't want you to waste time. Remember, we still have Morgan behind. Peter, look, the English woman who sent foreign troops in Africa land. Peter, I just don't care what you say. The Ku Klux Klan man can't get away. Why? Blazing, blazing, blazing. A bunning and a bunning and a bunning and a bunning. Hit me. Burn them noise. Come in, come in, come in. We bunning and we bunning and we bunning and we bunning. Oh, Peter, stop pushing. It have plenty more coming. Take all them from overseas, but leave my Logie. During my lifetime, to me they were so unkind, so much Peter, Peter, look, the woman who bring foreign troops in the Caribbean. Peter, I just don't care what you do, but ball head going in the fire too. Why? A bunning and a bunning and a bunning and a bunning. Blazing, blazing, blazing.
All right. So what do y'all think of that? What did y'all think of that? Yeah. Oh, I should probably like break down the lyrics, right? So you have a couple different notorious people he called out. Some of them I actually don't know who he is referring to. But others, I know. So like Drake is Francis Drake, Raleigh is how he name. Victoria is obviously Queen Victoria. We have Cecil Rhodes, the guy who is responsible for a lot of suffering across Africa. He's the guy in that picture that I often use in my videos of the colonizer with his hands spread out and his legs from Cairo to Cape Town. That's him. You have, of course, Reagan. You have the Englishwoman who on South Africa refused to put sanctions. That's Margaret Thatcher. We have Christopher Columbus. We have Ian Smith. We have Mussolini, of course. Um, I don't know who Botha is. I didn't look him up. Let me look him up. Oh, South African politician, right? P.W. Botha. And then we also have the Ku Klux Man. You have Morgan. I don't know who Morgan was. Foster is who? Who was Foster, boy? I don't know. Maybe somebody knows. It might be. It might be the Trinidadian politician Foster Cummins. I don't know. I mean, the Calypso historians would know who they're talking about, right? But yeah, yeah. This is a very. I mean, this is the kind of creativity that you saw in the old time Calypso, right? It's political commentary, it's social commentary, and a sprinkling of humor, right? I spoke about Calypso in the context of Carnival in my video on Carnival and Class Struggle. Another, in my opinion, underrated video, but you know, you can check it out. And yeah, a friend of mine reintroduced it to me. Should I say introduced it to me recently. And yeah, I just real appreciated it and I wanted to share it because I found it funny and danceable and enjoyable and pertinent. Mephistophel, you've encapsulated my thoughts entirely, right? The thoughts are relevant, but the followers should not be taking Marx's word as gospel, yeah. Is a bop, both of these nuts. um, could be JP Morgan, could be. Rage, what I think of Rage Against the Machine, I haven't really heard much of Rage Against the Machine. I haven't. I mean, I know who they are, obviously, but I haven't like sat down and listened to their music. Like that's not really the usual genre I hear. But I mean, I must be familiar with some of their songs, right? They're that well known. Um, but yeah, I'll definitely, I'll check them out. Rock isn't usually my thing, but I'll check them out. And I think we are coming to somewhat of a close. It's been like an hour and a half almost, and then eventually the energy starts to decline a little bit. I would have liked to have brought on Foreign, particularly to introduce him to that song, because I think he would have really appreciated it. But he had some errands to run today, so he couldn't be a part. And yeah, oh, I also wanted to shout out. I was recently um, reading slash watching Anarch's videos on a modern anarchism, and they are really, 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 really good. Let me pull that up so you could see it on the screen. Peter, keep the fire burning. Right, so this is Anarch. He was actually he's been doing this for longer than I have, and his series on why the state is counter-revolutionary is one of the main is one of the things that is one of the videos that have really inspired me. It's one of the main reasons I am as committed to anarchism as I am, and have such a clear understanding of the state and how it operates. It's part thanks to the introductions to the to information that he introduced in this playlist series in this series. Um, Definitely check it out. and really check out his whole channel. He's been grinding for a while, and it is a travesty that he's only where he is right now. I mean, a lot of his videos are a bit more on the intermediary to advanced understanding of anarchism kind of vibe, but there's stuff for, beginners as well. He has a plethora of reading lists. So for all those who ask me for reading lists, this is a good place you could start off. Like I basically agree with all of his recommendations here. And his series on a modern anarchism is something that I've really been enjoying. Particularly, I saw part one. I haven't seen the others. They're very long, so I kind of preferred to read them while I was listening or whatever, so I could stay focused. But it's a really, really great breakdown. He's aiming to synthesize all sorts of different dimensions of anarchist theory, of the past and of the present, rather than sending people to these dusty tomes from the 19th century and 20th century. It's some more up-to-date stuff, information incorporating queer anarchism and black anarchism and feminism and that sort of thing. So you should definitely check that out. I just wanted to give him a shout out because not only was he a good introduction for me, but also he was a good comrade, and he really helped me out early on in my channel and shouting out my videos and that kind of thing. And I've passed him in subscribers now, and I think he deserves more. So if you want to check him out, you'll absolutely should. Do 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 do. Okay, and I think that's about it. I am going to call it George there. A song that unites all people. I have no idea. Anyone have a good recommendation on African literature? I mean, I could give you the classic "Things Fall Apart" by Chinua Achebe. I mean, I had to read that for CSEC. But it's a really good book, just in general. So that's a good recommendation I could give you. But I have not read that much African literature. I've also read the Children of Blood and Bone series, Legacy of Orisha series, which is Children of Blood and Bone and Children of Virtue and Vengeance. That was fun. I'm waiting on the third book in the trilogy still. I think that's about it. Oh, Dion recommends Half of a Yellow Sun by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Have I been following the grassroots movement La Via Campesina? I have not. I have not heard of it. I'm gonna check it out. Yeah. That's it for now. Thank you all for the love and the support and the appreciation, and for tuning in and asking the questions, and thanks to the artists for submitting their work. Thanks to all 150,000 of you who have made this possible, for supporting the channel and in any way. And I hope you'll have a good rest of your Sunday, or if it's Monday already, hope you have a good Monday, and a good rest of the week, and a good rest of the year. I do want to maybe do some more public streams. I might see if I could reach out to Dustin Jacobus, actually, or Jacobus, to see if he'd be willing to talk about his art a bit more on live. And yeah, I need to eat my spaghetti. All right. Take care, everyone. Peace.